here comes the first question. You are planning a strategy to deploy numerous web servers and database servers to Azure. This strategy should allow for connection types between the web servers and database servers to be controlled. So the suggested solution is you need to include network security group or the NSGs in your strategy. So the question is, does the provided solution meet the goal? Provide answer yes or no. The second question is, you are planning a strategy to deploy numerous web servers and database servers to Azure. So this strategy should allow for connection types between the web servers and database servers to be controlled. Suggested solution, you include a local network gateway in your strategy. Does the solution meet the goal? Third question, when you are implementing a software as a service solution, you are responsible for dash. You have an on-premises network that contains 100 servers. You need to recommend a solution that provides additional resources to your users. The solution must minimize capital and operational expenditure costs. What should you include in the recommendation? Question number 5. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Each correct selection is worth 1 point. So, to achieve a hybrid cloud model, a company must always migrate from a private cloud model. Hello, fellow Azure enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving deep into the world of Microsoft Azure with a focus on the AZ900 exam, which is called the Azure Fundamental Certification exam. If you're gearing up for this exam or simply want to reinforce your knowledge, you are in the right place. In this video, we will tackle a comprehensive set of review questions and answers specifically designed for the AZ900 exam. Whether you're a beginner exploring cloud concepts or an experienced professional aiming to validate your Azure skills, this content is for you. So let's break down what you can expect on this particular exam. So, 1, question exploration. So we will dissect real-world scenarios and quiz-style questions that mirror what you might encounter in the actual exam. From cloud services to pricing models, we've got it covered. Secondly, a detailed explanations. It's not just about getting the right answers. I believe it's about understanding why it is correct. We'll provide in-depth explanations for each question, demystifying Azure concepts along the way. Thirdly, exam strategies. So we'll share tips, tricks, and strategies to boost your confidence during the exam. From your time management to tackling tricky scenarios, we've got your back. Fourth, interactive learning. So in this exam presentation, I want you to feel free to pause, rewind, and engage with the content. We believe that learning is a journey, and we are here to guide you every step of the way. So first of all, who are we? We are 591 Lab. 591 Lab with the website 591lab.com, pronounced as 591 Lab. So 591 Lab is the top IT training and certification exam brand in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore. Our mission at 591 Lab is to provide our clients with exceptional exam preparation experience for certifications in Cisco, Huawei, Aruba, Juniper, Microsoft, and Azure certification tracks. So, I implore you to grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's embark on this Azure adventure together. Remember, knowledge is power, and mastering AZ900 is your gateway to unlocking more advanced Azure certifications. So hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and let's dive into the world of cloud computing with enthusiasm and curiosity. So questions of discussions that will revolve around these particular topics. The first topic will be around describing cloud concepts. The second topic will be around describing Azure architecture and services. And the third topic will be describe Azure management and governance. So if you're ready to explore the questions, answers, and explanations, so let's get started. But remember, Azure isn't just a platform, it is a mindset. So let's elevate our cloud game together. Thank you for joining me. Here comes the first question. You are planning a strategy to deploy numerous web servers and database servers to Azure. This strategy should allow for connection types between the web servers and database servers to be controlled. So the suggested solution is you need to include network security group or the NSGs in your strategy. So the question is, does the provided solution meet the goal? Provide answer yes or no. So before we answer this question, let's go to our whiteboard. So when you come to our whiteboard, the question is revolving around servers. You have the on-premise servers that you migrated to the Azure cloud. So we have our Azure cloud. So this is our Azure cloud. So let's say this is Azure side, Azure cloud side, and you have your servers. So this is a web server, and this is, for example, a database server. So when you have these servers here, these servers might be existing in different, let's say, for example, different subnets. So let's say this web server is in web subnet. So let's just say web subnet. This database server is on the database subnet. And for example, now for you to you want to for example ensure that there's communication between this web the server that's sitting on the web subnet and the server that is sitting on the database subnet. For example, if there's certain communication that you need to happen, and we already know that servers within the same VNet or same VNet usually communicate with each other, or meaning even if they're in different subnets, they can still ping each other. But if you want to bring in the nitty-gritties of, for example, security in terms of how the servers get to communicate with each other, we usually get to deploy what we call a sort of a firewall. And that firewall is firewall in quotes in here. It's usually the NSG, network security group. So what happens on network security group, you'll apply the filters here. And as per the filters, that will allow traffic to flow from, for example, the web subnet to the database subnet, and vice versa as well. So depending as per the rules that you've configured within this network security group. So within Azure, so this NSG, the best way possible, when you create a network security group, you need to assign it to a subnet. You assign it to a subnet so that all the VMs under that particular subnet will inherit the policies that are applied within this network security group. So when I go to the Azure portal, when I'm saying NSG, so for example, when I go to a VM, let's say for example a virtual machine, my auto virtual machines, so I go to say that one. So when I go to network settings there, then scroll down, you'll see here there is network security group. So there's the network security group that I had created, but this network security group for this one is attached to the network interface of this particular virtual machine. But this is sure not the best way possible to attach your NSG. NSG is best when you attach it to a subnet. So for example, I'll attach it to this particular subnet where this VM resides, so that any VM that will come under the same subnet will inherit the NSG that we configured. But as it is right now, Red Hat, like the Red Hat NSG is attached to the NIC. That means it's only this NSG is only affecting, only applying to the virtual machine that it is attached to. So the NSG enables communication flow of traffic. For example, if you want to access the VM, like the example in this case, if I want to access this Red Hat machine from my network, I'll open port 22 from this particular source IP address, that is so that I can SSH to my VM. So without this particular rule, I'm not able to access this particular VM. So that is the importance of NSG. So let's go back to our question. So the solution that I was suggesting, you need to include network security groups in your strategy. So does this make the solution? Does the solution make the goal? Yes, this one meets the goal, because when you implement NSG, this strategy will allow, for example, the connection type between the web servers and the database servers, as I explained, if at all you have them in different subnets. Second question. The second question is, you are planning a strategy to deploy numerous web servers and database servers to Azure. So this strategy should allow for connection types between the web servers and database servers to be controlled. Suggested solution, you include a local network gateway in your strategy. Does the solution meet the goal? In this case, this question is similar with the first question. And we found out that for communication, for us to have that connection type between the web servers and the database servers, we need to implement what we call the network security group. Because remember, these servers are already on Azure side. You have to remember, they're already on Azure. It's not like they're on premises. They're already on Azure. So you have to implement any network security group whenever they're there, so to ease that communication. But the suggested solution here will be wrong. It's a no. The answer here is no, because a local network gateway, for you to have a local network gateway, there are other accompanying resources that need to be implemented for the local network gateway to kick in. What do I mean by that? If we go back to our whiteboard, is that on Azure side, let's say this is Azure. So for me to have a local network gateway, that means the communication needs to happen back to the on-premises. So I need to have an on-premises servers. So, but in our question, you already see that you've been told that you've already migrated these particular servers to Azure. So they're not existing on premises. So the need of you having that local network gateway won't be necessary, because it won't achieve any purpose at all, because all the servers have already been migrated to Azure side. So the need for you having the local network gateway won't be very realistic here. But just for you to understand what a local network gateway is, local network gateway is created whenever you have a VPN network gateway. The VPN network gateway is what will assist in when you want to deploy what we call site-to-site VPN. So site-to-site VPN is going to connect the Azure site and the on-premises site. So for the site-to-site VPN to function correctly, we'll have that VPN gateway created on Azure side and the local network gateway created. For the local network gateway, you'll have the IP address of the firewall from the on-premise side and the CIDR IP ranges of the private subnet that is existing on the on-premises side. So you have this public IP of the firewall, punch it here on the local network gateway, check the private IP address ranges from the on-premise side, punch them there on the local network gateway, so that the communication can now happen from the VPN network gateway to the local network gateway, which you've already mirrored that for the on-premises. So let's go back to our question, and as I explained, that the solution meet the goal. The solution doesn't meet the goal. It's a no, because all the servers here have already been migrated to Azure, and local network gateway is for ease communication between on-premises and Azure. And if the resources have already been migrated to Azure, you don't have any on-premises workload. So it beats the logic of having a local network gateway. Third question. when you are implementing a software as a service solution, you are responsible for dash 1, configuring high availability, 2, defining scalability rules, 3, installing the SaaS solution, 4, configuring the SaaS solution. So before we get to answer this particular question, we need to understand what is a software as a service, what is the platform as a service, and what is infrastructure as a service. So software as a service, you only get to utilize the resources or the application that is provided to you by the vendor. An example will be the Microsoft 365. As a customer, you're only using that particular service. You're not concerned about installation of that particular service, how anything to do with scalability, is the server updated and all that. You are concerned about just using that particular service. That's all. So what probably you'll be doing here is just configuring that solution. For example, with Microsoft, when you get Microsoft 365, your concern as a customer will only be configuring Microsoft 365. That is, you get the license, configuring the users, deploying and ensure that your users are able to communicate within the Microsoft 365 realm. So now, how about platform as a service? Platform as a service, you as a customer, you are only concerned about utilizing the application, for example, that has been provided to you by the customer, by the vendor. You only, for example, an app service. You only bring your data, and manage your application. So in this regard, you are just using a particular portion of the service being provided to you by the vendor. So let's say an app service. When you've been provided an app service, your concern here as a customer is to bring your application on that particular platform, which is the app service platform, so that you can get to only concentrate on building your application. Infrastructure as a service, you as a customer is concerned about managing almost entirely everything on that particular infrastructure. For example, in terms of running updates, checking if the server is okay and all that. So what is only you're not able to do an infrastructure service is that security, where those servers are lying, for example, security, hardware security, and all that. That's not your concern. And even power issues, that is not your concern. Your concern is just to utilize that particular server that you've been providing and ensure it's update and you can install anything. It's just the same way you have your on-premises servers. So going back to these questions, when you're implementing as a software as a service solution, you're being asked, what are you responsible for? So this is the explanation that I'll give around this. When you're implementing a software as a service solution, you are responsible for configuring the software as a service solution. As I've mentioned, you are responsible for configuring it. An example will be like Microsoft 365. You are responsible for configuring it. I'll tell you another example. Let me go to Azure portal. So there's what we call Azure Sentinel. You as a customer, you are responsible for configuring Azure Sentinel. Microsoft Sentinel is a software as a service. In that, you're only concerned about bringing in your data so that you can consume this particular service. So when I come here, I'll say not create a workspace though. I'll just say select this workspace. Then I say add. I need to create add. So that is adding Microsoft Sentinel to that workspace. Yeah, okay. So Microsoft Sentinel, it's like it's a SIEM and a SOA tool. So when you have Microsoft Sentinel, you only bring data into Microsoft Sentinel. As you can see here, if I go under Content Hub, and then there is what we call the data connectors. I can bring in any sort of data using this particular data connectors. So let's say I want to bring in data from my Google Cloud platform. So what I'll do is just select and then say, for example, install. So when I install, it will get to install this Google Cloud platform connector, so that I'm able to retrieve information from the Google Cloud platform to my Microsoft Sentinel. So in this regard, you can see, as I mentioned, a software as a service, you are only concerned about configuration of this particular service, and then you through the connectors here, you can now bring in the data into this particular service that you've been provided by Microsoft. So this is an example of a software as a service, the Microsoft Sentinel. So to proceed further, because we've known that you're responsible for configuring the software as a service solution, everything else is managed by the cloud provider. The SaaS requires the least amount of management, of course, as we've seen, and the cloud provider is responsible for managing everything, and the end user just uses the software. So software as a service allows users to connect to and use cloud-based applications over the internet, as you've seen with Microsoft Sentinel. Common examples are, like, for example, email, that is calendaring, around even Microsoft 365 and all that. So software as a service provides a complete software solution which you purchase on a pay-as-you-go basis from cloud service provider. So with Microsoft Sentinel, you only pay for what you're using, pay-as-you-go more. So you rate the use of an application for your organization, and your users connect to it over the internet, usually with a web browser or of the underlying infrastructure, middleware, application software, and application data are located in the service provider's data center. So in this case, like with Microsoft, like you can see Microsoft Sentinel, the Microsoft team manages the hardware and software, the term Microsoft Sentinel, and with the appropriate service agreement. So there's an SLA, service level agreement. So that SLA will ensure that there's availability and security of the application and your data as well that you're bringing into that particular platform. So let's go back to our question. So when you're implementing a software as a service solution, you are responsible for, as we've seen, you're responsible for configuring the SaaS solution. The fourth question: you have an on-premises network that contains 100 servers. You need to recommend a solution that provides additional resources to your users. The solution must minimize capital and operational expenditure costs. What should you include in the recommendation? So in this regard, we have a hybrid cloud, a private cloud, and we also have a public cloud, or even you can have additional data center. So what is the right answer as per the question? You've been asked that you have an on-premises network. So let's go back to our whiteboard, and I'll tell you, we have an on-premises network that have 100 servers. We need to recommend a solution that provides additional, underline the word additional, resources to your users. The solution must minimize capital and operational expenditure. Underline that. So we go back, and then we go to our whiteboard. So when we are at our whiteboard, so what we do, so we have our on-premises side, and we have Azure side. We've already been told our on-premises side has got 100 servers. And then we have our Azure. So we want to add more resources to the 100 servers. These 100 servers will still exist on on-premises. But now we want to add more servers. So let's say, for example, we have more users, and now we need to add more servers. Now let's say, add 30 servers. We need to add 30 servers. So they're asking you, what is the best way? So let me go back now to the question. They're asking you, the solution must minimize capital and operational expenditure costs. So as much as we want to add these servers, we need to ensure it's adhering to the expectation of the in terms of costs. So in this regard, we have the on-premises environment. So for example, this is our private cloud. So let's say we have, let me not say private cloud, let me just say our data centers somewhere on the on-premises side. We have our data center there, and then on the Azure side, of course, this is now what we call, this is the public cloud. This is a public cloud. So for us to ensure that we have this additional servers as soon as possible and ensure that we get it at a very low cost, is to bring these servers. You see these 30 servers, we need to deploy them here. Deploy those particular 30 servers here on the public cloud. So when we deploy these additional 30 servers here, and remember we've just retained the 100 servers on the on-premises. So we'll need to create sort of connection between now these two environments, now the on-premises and the Azure. And that sort of connection, when we create that, we'll have what we call an hybrid sort of a setup. So this is what we should call hybrid cloud. Now there are other resources residing on the on-premises and other resources are residing on the Azure public cloud side. So what is a hybrid cloud in our definition? So a hybrid cloud is a combination of a private cloud and a public cloud. So you can see from our data center here, which could be a private cloud, when we connect the two, we have our hybrid cloud. So in terms of capital expenditure, by definition of it, capital expenditure is the spending of money upfront for infrastructure such as new servers. So in our case, how do we minimize our capital expenditure? How do we minimize spending money upfront? Like for example, buying servers, then installing them, and all that. How do we get to minimize that? Is through just taking those servers, deploying those servers on the public cloud, where we just spin those particular VMs that we need, and then we have our servers running. So as we've seen, that capital expenditure is the spending of money upfront for infrastructure such as new servers. So with the hybrid cloud, you can continue to use the on-premises servers while adding new servers in the public cloud, as we've seen, for example, in Azure cloud. So adding new servers in Azure minimizes the capital expenditure costs, as you are not paying for new servers as you would if you deployed new servers on premises, of course, as we've seen with the 30 new servers. So the answer to our question, basically, as per that expression, is boiling down to hybrid cloud. But how about the other choices? So I'll go back to our question. You can see the answer here is coming to hybrid cloud. But why is it not private cloud? Why is it not an additional data center? Or why is it not a complete migration to the public cloud? So I'll give an explanation to that. In that, for example, the first choice, a complete migration of 100 servers to the public cloud will involve, so when I go a complete migration to the public cloud, it will involve migration of these 100 servers to the public cloud will involve a lot of operational expenditure. That is, the cost of migrating all these servers to the cloud, it's a lot of work, and the cost attached to it is very, very high. So you just want additional servers. Instead of now migrating those 100 servers to the cloud, just provision those additional servers. Let's say there are 30 additional, just provision them on the Azure side. Why is B not correct as well? An additional data center. An additional data center will involve a lot of capital expenditure. As we had already explained, capital expenditure, capital expenditure is the spending of money upfront. But here you don't want to spend money upfront. And so an additional data center will involve a lot of capital expenditure. That is for the cost of the new infrastructure. C, a private cloud. Why is it not correct? Because a private cloud is hosted on premises servers. To this will involve a lot of capital expenditure, the cost of the new infrastructure towards the private cloud. So With all those explanations, the correct answer to this question is hybrid cloud. The next question. Question number 5. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Each correct selection is worth 1 point. So, to achieve a hybrid cloud model, a company must always migrate from a private cloud model. So, as we have observed earlier, for a hybrid cloud model to exist, you need to have a private cloud and a public cloud, and then connect the two cloud models. Connecting the two cloud models will make you have what we call a hybrid cloud. So you don't need to necessarily have to migrate from a private cloud for you to have a hybrid cloud. So the answer to this question will be a no, because it is not true that a company must always migrate from a private cloud model to implement a hybrid cloud. You could start with a public cloud and then combine that with an on-premises infrastructure to implement a hybrid cloud. So the second question, a company can extend the capacity of its internal network by using the public cloud. Yes, it's true that an organization can extend their internal network by, for example, if at all the on-premises side, they want to have more servers and they cannot have those particular servers, they cannot buy those servers upfront in terms of because of budget constraints and all that, and so they can still host those particular servers within the public cloud and extend their internal network to the public cloud. So that extending of the network or the internal network to the public cloud through what we call the site-to-site VPN, so that our users on the on-premise can communicate to the servers that are sitting on the public cloud side. So that communication is usually enabled through the VPN gateway, site-to-site VPN, or you can even use Azure Express route. So in this regard, the answer to this question is a yes, because a company can extend the capacity of its internal network by using the public cloud. This is very common, as we know it. When you need more capacity rather than pay out for new on-premises infrastructure, you can configure a cloud environment and connect your on-premises network to the cloud environment by using a VPN, as I mentioned. So, answer area third one, in a public cloud model, only guest users at your company can access the resources in the cloud. So this is forthrightly no. Within the public cloud, any user that you've given access to get access to the public cloud can literally get access to those particular resources. So those access is controlled by identity and access management. You can control which users can access your resources in the public cloud. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the public cloud, that only guest users in your company can access the resources. This is not true. So an explanation that I provide today is that it is not true that only guest users can access cloud resources. You can give anyone an account in Azure Active Directory, or right now the Microsoft Entra ID, access to the cloud resources. There are many authentication scenarios, but a common one is to replicate your on-premises Active Directory accounts to Azure Active Directory and provide access to the Azure Active Directory accounts. So, apart from Azure AD or Azure Active Directory, another commonly used authentication method is federation. So, where the federation is where authentication for access to cloud resources is passed to another authentication provider, such as an on-premises Active Directory. So in this regard, you find that with your authentication or identity provider mechanism, you can provide access to your public cloud resources to anyone as per the defined authentication methodology within your organization. So the answer to this question is a no. The sixth question, and this is the last question. Complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Azure Site Recovery provides dash for virtual machines. Does it provide fault tolerance? B. Disaster recovery? C. Elasticity? D. High availability. So, to answer this question, let's go to our whiteboard and I'll explain. So within our whiteboard here, you'll find that Azure Site Recovery is used mostly for business continuity. So Azure Site Recovery helps ensure business continuity by keeping business applications and workloads running during outages. So Site Recovery replicates your workloads running on physical and virtual machines from a primary site to a secondary location. So what I mean by that is that let's say, let me just use on-premises because this is easy for us to understand. Then we have Azure. So I might be having servers here on the on-premises, and I want to have a situation whereby in case, let's say my power here, something happens with my power here, everything goes down. So meaning that I'm not able to access my resources here. So when everything goes down here, what happens? So to ensure that business continuity, we should call BCDR, business continuity disaster recovery. To ensure that business continuity, we usually do what we call, we usually implement what we call ASR, Azure Site Recovery. In that these resources will be replicated on this other side. Let's say there are 3. They will be replicated on this other end, on the Azure side. So when this site goes down, this one comes up on this other end. So, and now the users, instead of logging into this one, they'll be redirected to log in to the Azure site. So that is aided through an Azure Site Recovery. So the Azure Site Recovery is enabling what we call disaster recovery. In case of a disaster, you can recover from that particular disaster. An example of a disaster here that is, for example, a power outage on your on-premise primary environment, and your servers are now shut down. You are not able to access, users are not able to access the resources there. So instead of worrying, you just redirect your users to use the replicated resources on the Azure side. So that is the importance of having Azure Site Recovery, and that it falls under the business continuity and disaster recovery sort of model. So when you go back to our question, to ask what Azure Site Recovery provides, so as you can see, Azure Site it provides a disaster recovery for virtual machines. So I want to thank you for attending today's class at 591 Lab. We hope you found the material informative and helpful. Remember, practice is critical to mastering a new skill. So review the course content and keep practicing with 591 Lab help and support. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact us. We appreciate your participation and look forward to seeing you in our future classes. Have a great day.